All right. Welcome back to the Graeme and Sophia podcast post Japanese Grand Prix.
It was quite the race.
Yeah, a little bit of a early one for us. It was a 1 a.m. start time. Although I think it was even was it worse in England? It might have been like 3 or 4 a. Well, that was probably like 6 a.m. for them because they're like 5 hours ahead.
Well, I wouldn't really consider it an early race for us. It was probably more of a late race.
That is true. We were both maybe a little bit intoxicated watching the race.
Yes. Yeah. So
maybe just a little.
Our opinions might be a little skewed, a little hazy, foggy, but I definitely dozed off at a point.
I did not. I was out when watching the race. It's weird to be able to watch an F1 race at a bar at 1 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah, we don't typically get that luxury. It's usually like 8 a.m.
Yeah. I think Vegas will be the same thing for us because it's a Saturday race. I think it's I think it might be like the same thing, like 1 a.m. Sunday for us.
In Vegas?
I think, yeah. But
anyway.
Okay. Moving on.
Continue
back
on.
back to Japan. So our race results for this Grand Prix were Max, Lando, and Oscar on the podium. Oscar's first podium in his career.
Woo!
Shout out.
That's amazing.
Charles P4, Lewis P5, Carlos P6, George P7, Alonso P8, Ocon P9, and Gasly P10. Yeah, I mean, I feel like not much really happened in the race except for, Perez's whole thing, which we can talk about later.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to unpack that one.
A little bit of fighting between Mercedes and Ferrari, but I feel like not much else happened in the race.
Yeah, I feel like Ferrari had some good overtakes. Mercedes was just fighting themselves. A few silly crashes. But overall, I wouldn't say it's like super on the edge of your seat eventful.
No. I mean, Max finished ahead of Lando by 17 seconds, and then Lando was, I think, also 17 seconds ahead of Oscar, and then it was a gap to the rest. And then, it was, I mean, I think I'd give it a 6 out of 10. Definitely not the best that we've seen, especially compared to some of the recent races.
Yeah, I gave it a 6.5. So roughly on the same page there. I guess I just rated it a little bit higher because I was happy with the podium.
Yeah.
And Ferrari didn't completely shit the bed. So
nice. And Charles finished ahead of Sainz, which hasn't happened in a couple of races.
Yes, exactly. So was thrilled about that one. That's probably the only reason why I gave it that extra 0.5.
That's fair. I respect that. It was a very good podium.
Yeah.
Which speaking
you predicted.
Yeah. I did.
I'm convinced that you have some sort of insider secrets because you've guessed it.
Well,
pretty accurately.
Singapore, I got everyone except for Max.
Which that's
still pretty good though.
Yeah. Well,
and is this the first time any of us have gotten the whole podium right?
I think so.
Is that bonus point?
You already have those extra points from last week.
Let's
not get ahead of ourselves.
Might be pushing my luck on that one.
I'll argue that. Yeah, so you literally got the podium right. You guessed Max, Lando, Oscar. And you missed with the wild prediction.
It would have been nice to get the clean sweep, but I'll take the podium. I predicted Lawson Q3. I think he qualified like 12th or something.
Yeah, he wasn't too far off.
Wasn't too far off. He got Q2, so, that's something.
He's still doing pretty well. I'll give him that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so good for him.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of, we talked about it last episode, but they confirmed that it's going to be Yuki and Danny Rick at AlphaTauri next season, and Lawson's going to be reserve driver, I think, for Red Bull.
Is that confirmed?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean, like, Williams couldn't sign him if they wanted to. It's still open to that.
Yeah, I was about to say, I know recently I saw that, like, it's a potential idea, but again, it could just be a rumor that he could take Logan's spot.
Yeah. Well, Logan, we talked about it last race. Logan's really not helping himself here.
No,
he not good.
No, unfortunately, I don't think he's really, I feel like the pressure's on him and he's kind of crumbling under it a little bit worse than he has been. So
yeah, it has not been pretty.
No.
All right, moving on to your predictions. You got 2 out of 3, so not bad. You got the free square Max P1. Right. You got Lando P2, and you had Lewis P3. Yeah, I mean, I guess if there was a safety car or something, it could have been Lewis P3, but if there was one at the end. But yeah, that was Lewis wasn't too far off. You see, he was close to P3.
He was P5.
Yeah, and I think the gap between like Oscar and Charles like wasn't massive, so he was like ish there. But I do think Charles had Lewis covered anyways.
Yeah, which thank God, I prefer that.
Yeah.
And then I put Yuki top 10 as my wild card, and obviously that did not work.
P11 Merchant.
Yeah, so
I think that's like his like 8th P11 of the season or something.
Yeah, we were close. I was really rooting for him.
Yeah, it would have been nice for him to get points, home race, getting announced for new contract, but just wasn't to be.
I tried, Yuki. I tried.
All right. So what was your moment of the race?
So I kind of this was a silly moment of the race, mind you. Again, we watched this intoxicated. So my favorite moment, and there's literally coverage of it like all over TikTok, Instagram, was Max was pitting and they were showing his pit stop, and then they panned over to Checo in the garage just sitting there because he retired the car, and it was just a really savage moment for the cameramen to do that, and I thought that was so funny.
Yeah, it was very like meme worthy.
Exactly. But besides that, there's a few Charles overtakes as well that are notable and worth mentioning. Of course, biased, but if we're picking a funny moment, it was definitely
I mean, most of the battles were from that Mercedes Ferrari fight, so that's fair. My moment of the race was kind of similar to well, it's what caused your moment of the race. Checo having another disaster of a race. Just wow. I mean,
what the hell was going on?
Like, just everything went wrong, and he was dive bombing people, like punting people left, right, and center, like he has been the last few races.
Yeah,
just not good. And then he retired, only to unretire after what was it, like 18 laps or something? He came back out for 5 laps to serve a penalty. Like,
I mean, it kind of smart, I guess.
It is smart, and I feel like kind of loophole-y.
Yeah, is that like?
I mean, I've never seen it happen before, but everyone on the line said, I guess technically it's fine, but apparently the FIA is trying to close that loophole for the future, so you can't do that.
Well, yeah, I feel like it's pretty unfair, but
it also is fucked up because, well, when he was first going to retire, Lando lost like 10 seconds behind Checo under that VSC because like he didn't know if he could pass Checo or not. Checo was just like there and like
just in the way.
Yeah, so I think that if that didn't happen, like Lando, obviously I don't think he would have fought for the win, but he would have been like within 10 seconds maybe of Max instead of like 20.
Which at the end of the day, does that really make a difference?
No, but it's. I mean, there's been races this season where Max is like truly just won by 30 seconds.
Yeah.
It wasn't as big of a gap as it looked like this race.
Well, I guess, the meme going around is Red Bull gives you front wings.
Yep. I've read someone made a joke that at this rate they're gonna have to just stop having him race because he goes through 3 front wings a race. Like
literally.
It's literally so bad.
Like, what is he doing? It's like him and Logan fighting for their spots and both failing miserably.
But the weird thing is that Checo's spot is safe as long as he just doesn't suck. Like,
but he's sucking.
But he's sucking.
Yeah, like it's safe, but like we've seen how ruthless Red Bull can be. Like they'll drop him.
You know what's crazy? So I saw people comparing Alex's time at Red Bull to Checo's now. Alex was in a worse car competitively to like the rest of the field. Higher average qualifying position.
Wow.
Smaller average qualifying gap to Max. And he got punted. He got kicked. It's just like, I think Red Bull's like, all right, we have such a dominant car, it doesn't really matter right now, but like next season, I don't know if anyone's gonna be really challenging them next season. I hope someone is, but like, if someone was challenging them, they would be losing the constructor. Like Constructors, for sure.
I just lost my train of thought. Oh, I was gonna say how like it, you know, everyone that's been teammates with Max say he's a really hard person to be teammates with, simply because of course, like at the end of the day, they're gonna favor him and whatever. But I feel like maybe that's why they're keeping Checo around, because I feel like there hasn't been as much uneasiness between the two of them.
Yeah, I mean, well, remember the whole thing with, you know, Checo crashing in Monaco on purpose, and then in Brazil last year, him not getting position back. So I wouldn't know. I don't know about that.
That's fair, I guess.
But I think that in terms of like Max is the clear number one, whereas Gasly and maybe Albon like thought they could challenge Max. I guess Perez also thought he could challenge Max, but like accepted pretty quickly. Pretty quickly that he couldn't.
Well, he's got to pick his act up.
Yeah, they're gonna in the next couple of years they're gonna have a driver issue to solve, I think.
Oh, for sure.
And
I think
they gotta get on top of that. Yeah, hopefully they don't have like a Piastri happen to them where like someone else takes Lawson because they aren't giving Lawson a seat.
Yeah, could be possible. I mean, it's worked out for McLaren after all those issues, so
might
not be a bad move.
I'm sure there are probably some teams that, I mean, there's been some pretty bad drives I don't know, but I'm sure someone would probably take Liam because he's like a young talented driver
easily. I think he could definitely have a spot soon.
But
speaking of Oscar, driver highlight obviously has to go to him. First podium,
first rookie to get a podium since 2017, which crazy. I think was Stroll, I'm not wrong. Because I guess that first year that Stroll was in, he was in the Williams. That was like randomly. That was like their last year that they were okay. It's just downhill from there. But yeah, I just even like despite Oscar, like his race pace wasn't great. It was the same thing that we saw in Hungary, where like, you know, high tire wear circuits, he like isn't really on top of saving tires. But their car was fast enough with these new upgrades. Their car was fast enough that it didn't matter, and he was able to do what he needed to do and hold on to the podium.
Good for him. I'm glad. He deserved this one. He's always been so close recently, so I'm glad that it's finally there. Yeah,
and he should have gotten it in Silverstone. So I'm glad he did get it eventually this season. Yeah, and we'll see if he can do it again some point in the rest of this season.
I think so.
Yeah,
I feel pretty confident.
I think there are some more tracks that could suit McLaren. So and then not a driver highlight, a team highlight, but Red Bull did officially win the Constructors Championship.
Shocker! Wow, who would have seen this one coming?
I know. If Checo had been, you know, performing better, they probably would have gotten it like 3 or 4 races ago.
Easily.
Basically, Max won it by himself.
Yeah, he definitely did.
By the end of the season, he will have won it by himself for sure. Yeah. But
incredible.
I mean, it's just, you know, as much as it's annoying for the competition aspect, like Red Bull's just done a great fucking job with their car this year. And,
shout out to them.
Yeah, let's hope that it doesn't continue like that for the next couple of years. But
well,
good
next
for
year
them.
will be different. Yeah, whatever. We'll be better another time.
All right.
So let's kick it off. Give us some stats and nerdy shit.
Yeah, so this is a different one that I don't think I've shown before. This is a chart showing everyone's race start. Basically, their reaction, or not, well, it's partly reaction, but it's this time it takes them to reach 100 kilometers per hour, 200 kilometers per hour, and then from 0 to 200.
Who is that?
What?
Who's the one on the bottom?
Oh,
that's literally a horizontal line.
Logan.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Nice. But I think the cool thing to see here is, like, you know, despite it looking like some drivers have really bad starts compared to like others, like the best versus the worst is like half a second difference. It's still so tiny. Like Leclerc had the worst start. It took him 3.7 seconds to get from 0 to 100. And then
keep that to yourself.
Surprisingly, I don't know if this is something with their car or if they just both are good starts, but Bottas and Joe both had the best starts. Identical, actually.
Wow.
3.1.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can't say Charles was the worst. I mean, like, he was, but
well, his
Verstappen
0 to
was 3.7. Yeah. His 0 to 100 was the same.
Yeah, his 0 to 200 was 0.1 seconds worse than Albon's.
Wow.
So much worse.
Me getting defensive. I'm like, you can't say that.
It's actually pretty cool. I saw today McLaren did like a special on, like, Orlando was talking about his race starts and how he's been specifically working on them. Apparently he has a race start engineer, which I didn't realize was a thing.
I'm not surprised.
But he's been like specifically training to get better at starts, and I mean, he's third in this one. I think we saw that he was leading the Grand Prix for 0.5 seconds, where he was ahead of Max and going into turn one, and then Max just pushed him out. But yeah, I mean, I think it's cool to see like how small of a gap is, but how big of a difference it makes, like when you're actually watching the race and you can see like when someone gets a bad start.
Am I not seeing it? Is Sargent even on here?
My guess is because it was like that, they didn't bother.
I was about to say
putting it in here.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. I'm like, wanted to see what it was, because he's literally a horizontal line on this graph, but I guess it was just too bad to even put it in there.
Yeah. And then you can see, like, for Magnussen, he had a good first phase, but then in his second phase, whether he got like caught up behind someone or, you know, something like that, he slowed down. And then it's the opposite with Max. He had a bad start initially, which is why Oscar and Lando were able to kind of attack him. But then his second phase from 100 to 200 kilometers per hour was the fastest. Yeah. And that's why he was able to keep the lead.
Nice. Of course, no surprise.
Yep, no surprise there. Although, I mean, it was very close to being a repeat of Silverstone, where Lando went around the outside and Oscar was attacking. They were both attacking, and then it was very close. But I don't think it wouldn't have changed anything. It would have been the same thing. Lando ahead for 3 laps or 2 laps, and then Max is gone.
Yeah, run it back.
Yep.
All right, let's get into meme of the week.
Yeah, so my meme of the week is, I'm not doing it on purpose, but the last like few races I've kind of been shitting on Checo, and like I think somewhat rightfully so. He's been really, really bad, and I genuinely don't think he should be in that Red Bull seat for next year, but they are sticking with him. But it's the meme of a bus in a going across train tracks, and the train just comes straight through, and everyone's minding their own business, and then it's just Perez just running into the bus. And that's what he's been doing with other racers, other drivers the past couple of weeks. It's
pretty accurate.
Yeah, I think that's, I mean, just, you know, color it bluish black for the Red Bull colors, and it's right there. It's accurate.
It looks like a Red Bull to me. My meme of the week actually also shits on Perez. So as we know, Nick DeVries is now at Harvard. He had a nice little post that he's there. So it's a picture of Nick with the Harvard Business School sign, and the caption is Sergio Perez after the Japanese Grand Prix.
Yeah, maybe time to retire as a driver. Go back to school.
He'll be joining Nick at Harvard. Breaking news. I actually just saw the announcement. So the two of them will be, classmates.
Yeah, because Red Bull definitely mutually decided with Checo that Checo wanted to focus on school and not driving anymore.
Yeah.
Mutual decision.
Yep. So that was my meme for this week. I thought it was funny. But this was shit on Checo week, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, like,
sorry.
I don't want to be mean to Checo. I think he's a fine driver, just not in a top team. I don't think that's where his strong suit is.
I think he's just having a rough time, a rough season. He's not a bad driver.
No.
He's just not performing his best.
Yeah. I mean, Daniel Ricciardo didn't do his best in McLaren for a couple of years, but he's still a great driver. Could be something similar.
Exactly. Everyone needs a break.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe Checo should get a 1-year break or
a longer. Harvard degree.
Or how long does that take? A couple of years?
4. Maybe like 4.
Yeah.
All right. So moving on to our next race predictions.
Yeah, we got Qatar coming up in 2 weeks. So we have a break. And I'll start us off. I'm kind of feeling this right now. I'm going for the same podium that I did this time. I'm going Max, Lando, and Oscar.
Perfect.
I think that it's another track that's like, it's not super high speed, but it's like almost high speed, and that's what the McLaren loves. That's what the Red Bull loves. I think that probably McLaren, like everything, I think everyone will be a little bit closer. So maybe we'll see, Ferrari or Mercedes get in there, but I think I'm going to keep it going, saying double McLaren podium again, 2-3 for them, and Max, of course, gets the win. And then my wild prediction is that there's going to be no Aston Martin in Q3. I think Stroll is kind of a safe bet to assume that he's not in Q3. But I think on tracks like this where they're like shorter, kind of there's not really a street circuit, but kind of similar flow and kind of vibe to one. I think that some other teams have made progress in those kind of tracks recently. Like maybe AlphaTauri will knock out Alonso to get into Q3 or something like that. But I think no Aston Martin in Q3. That's my crazy prediction.
All right, not too crazy, but a little crazy. So
just a little, just the perfect amount of crazy.
Yeah. So again, very similar for me. I put Max P1, of course. I kept Lando P2. Charles P3. Okay,
so you're manifesting a little bit.
So, I was back and forth between a Mercedes or a Ferrari in P3. And I think the more that I just speak it into existence, the more it could possibly happen. So
it could. I mean, the Ferrari is like I think for this race they brought like an updated floor, which probably will give them more downforce. So like, who knows? Maybe he Charles will do it and he'll get the podium. I think it's not crazy, so I think it could definitely happen.
It's not crazy. It's not a guaranteed, but I guess that's what a prediction is for. So go Charles.
Yeah. And I see that you're doubling down on it a little bit.
Yeah. My wild prediction is both Ferraris in the top 5. Again, not a super wild prediction. Like we've seen it happen, but it's not common. So again, I'm manifesting a good weekend for the boys.
Yeah. I mean, they would definitely need to have a good weekend for it to happen because realistically, it'll probably be both Mercedes, both McLarens, both Ferraris, and then Checo fighting for 2 through 5 because Max is going to win. So it's going to be like...
Well, is Checo really going to be fighting for that? 50-50.
Yeah. Maybe more like 10-8, 10-90.
Yeah.
I mean, what's his Q3 appearance record so far this season? Probably still like
less
4 or 5 times. Yeah, All right.
Well, there's a prediction there.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, those are our predictions, and I'm hoping for another clean sweep, and maybe this time I'll get everything. That would be cool, or maybe you will.
Yeah.
I think
I hope
hopefully this season we do see someone get all of them correct. That would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be like a grand slam.
That would be.
Win.
I think
hopefully it's
if you get everything right, that should be a bonus point.
Agreed.
Okay.
Agreed. We can agree with that.
Yes, fair.
I think that's fair.
All right. Moving on to the last segment. It is time for Hinge Pickup Line of the Week.
All right. So I can't say either one of these are too exciting. Sorry, guys. But
I think after last week's, maybe it's okay to not have any super exciting ones.
Yeah, those were wild. Those were
something else.
All right, so this guy Max, ironic.
Mm-hmm. Max Verstappen?
I wish Kelly would have something to say.
You
about
think he
that,
uses Hinge?
Yeah, he has a long-term girlfriend, so no.
Yeah, no. But I mean, drivers aren't known for being the
yeah.
the best in relationships. I feel like Max probably is too. Yeah. Kelly, though, she's the one to watch out for.
Yeah, apparently she likes the young new drivers.
I did see a meme about it where it's like the meme of like the couple walking and then the person turning their head and it's Kelly looking at Liam and Max is with her. Yeah.
She can't catch a break there. But,
okay, continue.
So not Max Verstappen.
Okay.
Said, is the smoke show the tires burning out, or is that just you?
Okay, you know what? Short and sweet, and not terrible. I think that's like just, it's like a 7.
Yeah, I feel like it's there. It wasn't too much. It wasn't like too intricate where they like really tried to pull things together and it ended up flopping. To the point is,
Yeah,
I give it a 7.
I much prefer that over
the track of love.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm gonna get a shirt that says "Track of Love"
for a first when we come out with merch.
Right. Let's take a drive down the track of love.
Oh my god.
Okay, this one. His name is Philip.
All right, Philip.
I'm gonna read the whole thing.
It's a long one.
Kind of. He prefaces it with, "Not proud of this one, but it's all you get for now."
Okay.
Sass. Then he goes, "It's niche, so I don't know if it'll connect." Insult. So
a little
first he
condescending.
Gives sass,
yeah.
Then it's condescending. And he goes, "Let's see how niche this really is. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Are you Ferrari's race strategy department? Because you'll always be my plan A."
How is that?
I'm offended.
Does he literally not think you watch Formula One? Like,
I'm offended.
How is that niche?
I don't know.
And you, who's a diehard Ferrari fan.
I literally think one of my pictures is me in a Ferrari jacket. So
wow.
It was offensive.
If he hadn't done any of the stuff before, it would have been fine. But that's bad. No, that's a 1.
I don't know how you're gonna like hit on someone but insult them at the same time.
Yeah, that must I don't know what to say about that. He's definitely got to he's got to rethink his pickup lines.
He's demoted to reserve driver.
He's going back to F2.
F3 actually.
Go-karting.
Yeah. Yeah, so those were the pickup lines this week. A nice mix.
Yeah, more mellow ones this week.
So I think we needed that.
I think over the next 2 weeks we gotta come back with some good ones.
Okay, I have to be more.
A lot
active
of pressure.
Now. Yeah, I know. I'm like, I'm not gonna lie to you. I've been neglecting my my Nintendogs. That's what I call my Hinge likes. I have 288 notifications.
Wow, you've really been neglecting that.
And only 7 of them are messages.
Wow.
I have 280 likes that are sitting in my Hinge because I just have not touched it in like over a month.
You must be almost running out of the pickup lines then.
No.
You got plenty.
We have a handful, but we're
Okay.
gonna have to be more active to get more. I have to start collecting more. But anyway, needless to say, there's more that's coming. I just have to sift through them once I have the dedication, the willpower, and honestly, the courage.
F1 decided to give us a 2-week break, so you have plenty of time. They gave you the 2-week break just for you. So you
just
can
to
do
find
that.
more pickup lines. Okay. Yep. I promise. I'll come back with more, I promise. All right.
I think that's it. I think that's gas.
That's gas. Be sure to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it.
Check out all the socials. Yeah. All of them. Follow, like, subscribe, everything.
Comment.
Yep.
Screenshot.
Just spam us.
Duet, DM, everything. You have 2 weeks.
You have 2 weeks, yep.
You have 2 weeks.
Yep.
All right. Well, thanks, guys.
See ya in 2 weeks. Peace.